Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with the review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 10. So let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys. So the show opens with Kenya and Candy meeting for a play date between the girls, Little Brookie and Little Blaze, at Boomerang, which is like one of those indoor parks, where they have all the jumping, all of the different things.
This is a blessing to see both of our kids playing together. For so long, I was rooting for and praying for Kenya to have a baby, and so it feels good now to see them playing together.
And the girls are so cute. I'm telling you, the babies make us like the parents a little bit more, right? So anyway, Kenya gets a little baby popcorn for Little Blaze and Brookie to share, and then Kenya and Candy sit down and they just have a little chat. Kenya says how much fun she had at Sheree's party. Candy did too. Even though Marlo was trying to give them grief, and Kenya was like, I can't even worry about any of that shit right now. I got to make sure that Kenya Moore hair care does well. Okay? So she's already hinted at the issues that she's been having with Kenya Moore, but she tells Candy that it sounds like she's having scaling issues, shipping issues. She's feeling a little stressed about it. And Candy tells her that, scaling has been a problem for her in the past as well with her different businesses. You have to make sure that you have enough employees to move your product along. So she kind of knows where she's coming from in that instance. But like Candy said,
well, don't let Marlo deter you from what you trying to do.
Kenya was like, ain't nobody worried about that damn Marlo. I don't trust her as far as I can throw her, and that's a big bitch. She's about 6 feet tall and about 200 pounds. Like, she is not that big. Kenya's shady. So then they start talking about Marlo and the fact that she had got rid of the boys, that they don't live with her any longer.
When she was telling me everything, I was thinking like it would be the same as if I had put my cousins out, and I couldn't even bear to think that I would ever put my cousins out.
She ain't about to put little Patrick and Weenie out. Okay, and Big Melvin? No way. Like Candy said, when she took on the responsibility of having Patrick and Melvin, whenever she did have them, then that's it. You gotta kind of just forget about your feelings at the time. I don't think Marlo quite got that notice. Now, speaking of the kids, later on, we see Candy at home with the kids. She's packing for her road trip. Remember, Marlo told everybody at the end of last week's episode that they were going on a road trip, so she's packing. But she doesn't really know what to pack. Her assistant's helping her. Should we put bathing suits in there or not? She was just like,
what? I don't even know. Let me call Marlo.
So she FaceTimes Marlo because she's trying to keep this open communication with Marlo going. They already have a checkered, shit has been a little rocky this season. I was like, Candy has absolutely no idea all of the shit that Marlo's been saying and doing, to her and about her behind her back. But anyway.
So I was just calling to see, what I should pack.
All you gotta do is pack some warm clothes. Because, it's gonna be cold where they are.
Well, Kenya said that she's not coming.
I was like, you had to let her know that? I guess she was like, let me just be fully open with this damn Marlo, because Marlo always figures out a way to flip it and make it Candy's fault. I don't care what the fuck it is, it's always Candy's fault. And Marlo paused. I thought Marlo was about to blow a gasket, but then Marlo was just like, I think that we'll live without Kenya. Candy starts laughing. Maybe it's good that Kenya wouldn't be coming on this trip, even though she is coming. But right now, we don't think that she's coming on the trip. Now, speaking of Marlo, we see her at the house, okay, and she's in the room, the boys' room, and she looks like she's like kind of picking up, cleaning up, again, talking to themselves. You know how people be having the camera in the room, but they talking to themselves like, oh, let me see, what's it? Do they have any snacks hitting up in this thing? What is this behind this? This is just juice box, trying to fill the space or whatever. Finally, the doorbell rings, okay, and when she goes to the doorbell, it is her sister. This is the sister that she actually sent the 2 boys off to live with for the next 30 days. So her sister was like, hey, Marlo, how you doing? And Marlo was just like, I've seen better days. Okay, come on up here. All right, she wants to show her the boys' room, showing them how messy they are. I was just like, Marlo, this is what the kids do. I really want somebody to show me a young teenage boy's bedroom and let that shit be nice and neat and tidy. Absolutely not. If it is, that is not the norm. Anyway, she shows her also a place where one of the boys had punched a hole in the wall. And, well, that's not okay, of course, but I mean, nobody said that it ain't no issues with the kids. I mean, they've been through a lot with their mama and everything. So, I mean, but like we said, when you took them on, you had to be aware of all of that. All of that came with it, that these boys haven't come from, a place with a silver spoon in their mouth. They're going to have some issues. We thought that the fact that Marlo had been a part of the foster care system and everything, that she would be a little bit more sympathetic to that. But I guess Marlo is finding that it's too much for her. So like I said, she's pushed the boys off on the sister Crystal for the next 30 days. She tells us that Crystal actually was in the foster system as well. It is raining and it's sunny. It's crazy. The devil's beating his wife. Is that what we used to say? So apparently Crystal was put in foster care. Marlo, when she found out where her sister was, she made it a point to get the sister, and so she kind of helped raise this sister as well. But Marlo was just like, it's different with Crystal than with the boys. You know, it could be a boy versus girl thing. It could be a 2 kids versus 1 thing. Whatever it is, it's a little too much for Marlo. Now, Crystal is telling her how, she needs to kind of be a little bit more aware of the things that she says around the boys and how it might affect them, because, when you say stuff like you don't want them right now or you don't want them anymore and things like that, that affects them. So, you have to be more careful of the things that you say to them. And Marlo was just like, look, I was raised by the same lady that you was raised by. I guess she means that to say is that she's only going by the things that she's seen and did. And she just didn't realize that she needed to watch her mouth. But yes, you do need to watch your mouth, Marlo. These kids are listening. It's just really too bad. I'm not real clear on if this is just a storyline that they're doing for the show, if this is really what's happening. But you guys seem to think that, yes, it is really just happening. That's what you guys have been leaving in my comments and everything. So, I mean, I guess it is, but it's really unfortunate. Marlo needs to take a break. So the fact that she has the 2 boys go off with Crystal, who already has 4 kids, I guess Marlo feel like, well, you got 4, what's 2 more? But damn, can you imagine 6 kids? And 2 of them, at least I know, is teenage boys that's going to eat you out of fucking house and home. So it's just sort of like, this is even kind of a burden on Crystal that you putting on her, But Crystal seems to want to be able to help and everything. So, I mean, she does have a support system there. I just think that Marlo needs to... Yeah, Marlo's approach to this is just as undesirable. Now, let's get on to the road trip. Okay, so Sheree shows up first, and she has a boot on her foot. All right, turns out that she fucked up her foot, looked like she overextended her baby toe. She said her toe was right here and the rest of her foot went the other way when she stepped down. And so, she sprained something, pulled something, broke something. Something is wrong up in there, so she's got this boot on. We see Candy show up there. Drew shows up. Manetta is going on the trip as well. Okay, and Drew was just like, oh, I love Manetta. She's so nice and everything. I'm just so glad that she's here. Marlo always is bougetto, always tries to do it up extra, but then always have some sort of like ghetto tinge on the end of it. She didn't rent it these drivers to come and take them up to the Blue Ridge Mountains. That's where we're going. I just want to spoil my girls and have a good time this weekend. So she rented the 2022 Aston Martin, what is it? BMX? DBX. The Aston Martin DBX. That is what she and she and Sheree are going to ride in. And then the other girls are going to ride in. Was it a Maybach? I believe it was a Maybach. I'm not really sure. But the other girls that's left is Candy, Manetta, and Drew. Okay? So, and as an added touch to it, Marlo has also bought food for the girls to eat. Okay, somebody walks up and was just like, this is food for you guys. This is for Marlo. Okay, it's from Old Lady Gang. And Candy was just like, oh, it was. Well, that was nice. Candy didn't even know she was gonna be eating her own food today. So it's all set. We gonna all get in the cars and we gonna go. So Marlo and Sheree leaves first. Okay, Candy, Drew and Manetta, they get in their car and they getting themselves all situated and everything, and they about to open up their bag and start eating, and the driver of the car was like, oh, you can't eat in this car. And Candy was just like, what? If we can't eat in the car, then I don't want to go in it. Because you know Candy. Bitch, you ain't fixing to stop Candy from eating her damn food. And we already know Candy gets plenty hangry. So what we gonna do about this? Okay, they was just like, should we get out and eat first? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so next thing you know, you see them hiking up the hill because, honey, Candy will not be denied her wings. So they go and sit down and they eat their wings. They FaceTime Marlo, who's in the car with Sheree already on the way.
Well, how you gonna get us a car and then we can't even eat in it?
And Marlo was just like, oh shit, I'm sorry. You know, you can't eat in my car either. I didn't even think about it. Okay, well, we got out the fucking car and we gonna sit down here and eat first and then we'll be on our way. So we'll see you guys there. Okay, but who's in the car with you? It's just Sheree and Kenya. That's what Marlo says. Candy was just like, Kenya's in the car with you? You know, she knew Marlo was full of shit. She was just like, yeah, you wanna see? Yeah, we want to see. Ain't no damn Kenya there. But like Candy said, Kenya likes to make an appearance, so she'll probably come later. We've seen her plenty of times show up late. Okay, usually with some big spectacle. Now, I thought they said that Fatoum was coming too, but so far she ain't been on this trip. I don't know if I misheard or whatever, but you know, Drew still got an issue with old Fatoum. You know, she's really just trying me, but she's not, you know, I'm just really unbothered by her. And Manetta was like, girl, you is bothered. Okay, because you talking about it. Okay. So anyway, they're in the car and they're talking, and you know, Manetta starts talking about Marlo and how she's been through a lot. You know, that's what Marlo has told her, and Candy was just like, yeah, she kicked out the boys. And everybody was like, what? She did?
She said mentally she couldn't do it.
That rain is really coming down good. Maybe it'll make it cooler in my damn house. Drew and Manetta was just like, okay, well, she is doing it alone. And Candy was like, well, I guess that's what the weekend is for. Okay, we're going to help her through this whole thing. I thought Candy was going to roll her eyes. That's what she looked like she wanted to do, like Marlo and her issues. Now, at the same time that Candy and Drew and Manetta are talking, Marlo and Sheree are in their car and they're talking as well. Was I the only one that was rolling their eyes when Marlo said, why can't two black sisters get along? Two black sisters can very much get along if one black sister would act like she has some fucking sense. Marlo picks at Kenya for absolutely no reason. Kenya ain't did shit to Marlo this season for her to be acting the way that she's been acting. I'm gonna be curious to see how Marlo acts at the reunion. We already know that she's gonna be public enemy number one. Okay, we already know that Kenya and Candy are going to come for her ass with the quickness, for sure. But I wonder if Marlo thought that the way that she was gonna be this season was gonna be more receptive to the audience. For the most part, nobody is feeling Marlo, except for her diehard fans, which she does have those. But for the most part, everybody is just like, Marlo is tripping. So it's going to be interesting to see if she going to hold to it, if she going to stick to her guns and stay the true blue Marlo that we've been knowing all this season. I mean, all these seasons, or if she is going to try to play nice because, you know, now that she has her peach, I mean, you can very easily lose your peach. I don't know if I would see her going back to being a friend of the show. Like, it's a lot that's weighing on the way that things go at this reunion and all. So it's interesting, but yeah, that Marlo is something else. Anyways, they finally get to the cabin, and this is not no cabin. This is a big ass mansion. It's beautiful. It's in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's all done up so nicely. Marlo did great picking out this place. You know, when we see everybody, they got a staff there. It is just really, really nice. Okay, and I'm assuming that the bedrooms are going to be nice as well. When the rest of the girls finally bring up the rear, and we got Marlo and Sheree, Manetta, Drew, and Candy, Marlo was just like, welcome.
This was not what I was expecting when you said cabin.
So far, everybody is really impressed. We noticed that Sheree has a boot on her foot, you know, and she tells them what happened with the pinky toe and the foot going the other way and everything. Where's Sonya? Okay, Marlo says Sonya had to fly out somewhere, her and her husband. They couldn't, you know, but apparently Sonya's going to be joining them the next day. This is a good group right here. Okay, and it is kind of a good group. Sonya does cause issue. Kenya does cause issue. Candy, like I said, goes along to get along. So maybe right now this is a good little nucleus of what we got right now. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a Real Housewives of Atlanta episode if we don't have to play some fucking game for these rooms. I tell you, I'll be over it every single time. I hate that we have to do it. But anyway, Marlo has these candles. And Marlo is going to read the description of the candle, what it smells like, and you guys tell me who that candle is intended for. If you can guess the person who is for, then you get to pick the room. Okay, so it goes a little like this.
All right, the first candle smells like delusion and devotion.
That sounds like Kenya.
Ding, 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 you're right. You get to go and pick the first room, okay? And Candy was just like, bitch, you know I'm competitive. I'm going to win every fucking game you put in front of me. Okay, next one.
Smells like good vibes and good gossip.
Manetta says, oh, that's Candy. Ding, 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 you're right. I said, oh, you said good vibes and good gossip, Marlo? That's what you said about Candy? Who wrote these candles up? But anyway, Manetta gets to go and pick her room.
Next candle smells like high hopes and low expectations.
Sheree was like, that's me. You're right. Ding, ding, ding. Go pick your room.
Smells like color coordinated workout gear.
Drew was just like, oh, is that me? Is that me? No. Marlo was just like, oh, I should have probably put that for you. But no, that's not you. Okay? It's Sonya. There was 2 candles left. There's only one person left to pick a room, which was Drew. You know, Marlo was just like,
no, Drew, yours it smells like repeat resolutions and wishful thinking.
Okay, that's for you, Drew. All right, now go on and pick your room. Everybody goes and picks their rooms. Like I said, the rooms probably are all pretty nice in this place. And then Marlo is just like,
you guys just go take a whole bath and come on, and we're going to go down. Just make sure you wash some of the funk off from the trip. We're about to go eat.
Okay, so everybody get their little selves together. They immediately jump back into the bus and they're going to the restaurant. So once they get on the bus, they start talking about the boys, and Candy was just like, well, yeah, how long are they gonna be gone? And Marlo said 30 days. And of course the ladies are all listening. Everybody in that bus were all mothers. Some of them have had to deal with being a single mom at some point in their life, you know, so they're all just kind of listening to Marlo and just sort of like, you know, like Sheree said. Sheree was like, I raised 3 kids on my own. That shit is very hard. Okay, shit is hard when you have a partner. It's definitely hard when you by yourself, but it's always that but. Like, you took on the responsibility. Don't be shuffling these babies around. Sheree was like, she just did it out of nowhere. All of a sudden, the kids was gone. But anyway, they get to the restaurant and Marlo was just like,
I want all my girls surrounding me.
Okay, this is all about Marlo, remember? So they all sit down. They're all having a pretty good time. Like I said, this is a good group. They start talking to the ladies at the bar, and you know, the ladies, they turn around. I know they was excited to be on Real Housewives of At. You know, these, you know, your white sistren out there, they love them some Real Housewives of At. They love all of the Real Housewife franchises. So, you know, when they turned around, all like, yes, we're on the show, you know. They were asking them if they were locals, and yes, they were. Marlo was just like,
I love it out here. The locals are all very nice.
And, you know, this is where she comes to, you know, I guess, get away. So they get their orders in. Marlo says that she wants them all to get drunk. And Candy just like, I have never been drunk. Okay? Because Candy liked to be in control of herself. And she needs to be aware of her faculties and know exactly what's going around, you know, going on around her at all times. I don't blame her. So they're sitting there, they're talking. Drew starts talking about the situation with Sonya again. I'm just like, God, aren't you guys tired of being at each other? You know, but she didn't like the whole, you know, I'm busier than you comment. Well, really, Ralph is the one that said it. If we really was going to start where it started, Ralph was like, we're probably busier than you are. And then Sonya came back because she was a little offended by what he said. Like, I don't know what y'all do if you busy or not. Okay? So both of them was being a tad bit shady. God, this damn rain. Isn't it crazy? So I just was like, girl, let it go. It is not even that big of a deal. You can know that you busy and we ain't got to know that you busy. I was just like, y'all just keeping this shit going. Anyway, while she's there talking about that, Candy's looking at her phone and Kenya is texting her like, is everybody there? Is anybody asking about me? You know how people are when they don't be there. It's like, bitch, if you would get your ass here, then you wouldn't have to be asking me all these damn questions, you know? So Candy was just like, well, let me get up and go to the bathroom. Okay, so she goes and steps out, and then Kenya appears. Kenya actually is out there, and like Candy said, she has to make the appearance, right? Plus, Candy was just like, we had the same hair and makeup people, so I was able to figure it out. Okay, Candy knew she was coming, so Candy goes out there. Well, she don't really get her. She just went outside, and then you know, Kenya was there, so then they walked back in together. But oh, you know that made Marlo mad.
Candy knew that Kenya was coming and she didn't say anything. But you know what? Kenya is not about to get under my skin today.
What does it matter that Kenya, if you knew or not that she was coming? You kind of expected her to come. You sort of did, sort of didn't. And it was sort of up in the air anyway. So just like, and then you mad at Candy about it. Like I said, she always turn around and figure out a way to be mad at Candy. What Candy do? Kenya said she got the itinerary ahead of time. So honey, she just drove up at her leisure. All right, she didn't feel like be riding up with them and whether it was going to be some shit or not. So, yeah, that's the reason why she came a little late. But when she comes in and sits down with everybody, you know, Marlo is just like, hey, Kenya, you look beautiful. It just comes off of her. It just rolls out of her mouth so easily, doesn't it? So when Kenya sits down, then Kenya starts talking to them about Brookie and how, you know, she came up. She drove up. She's not really sure Brickie's going to be there or not, you know, so she's not going to stay in the house with them. And, you know, they're just sort of like, what? Why aren't you staying in the house with us? And she was just like, oh, because last time, you know, it was a big deal about Brookie being there. And so I didn't want to have that same repeat of it. So I just got my own place. Of course, Marlo is not happy about this. This was all about us all being together on this trip. And, you know, Candy was just like, well, I was kind of hoping that you would be in the house. Marlo was just like, Brookie is always welcome. Okay, it's like, you can bring her, but Kenya had already made up her mind. Now, while they're sitting there talking, then in comes Sonya as well. And Sonya's all excited. She just got back from her iFit thing. And guess what, you guys? They have decided to pay for everybody, all of the ladies, to go to Jamaica. And everybody was like, woo! And she was just like, oh my God, I didn't even think about it. I hope I'm not stealing Marlo's thunder. I was like, you absolutely are. And I bet you Marlo, if she wasn't so busy being pissed off at Candy and Kenya, then she would have been mad at Sonya for that too. But she didn't have time. So again, Marlo asked Kenya if she gonna come stay at the house with us, and Kenya was just like, I'll think about it. But you know, when you tell your kids you'll think about it, that usually means no. Kenya was just like, well, Marlo, I will be there for the experience, meaning like she'll come during the day and then she'll leave, I guess, in the evenings or whatever. And Marlo was just like, well, you're not getting the experience if you're not staying in the house. Okay, so then Kenya was like, well, you know what, let me put it plain to you why I'm not staying in the house. Okay, so then Kenya goes on to express herself, never raises her voice, never gets into a confrontational mode, but she definitely lets Marlo know the reason why. You know, you say that you love everybody, but you don't really love everybody because the way that you act, your actions prove otherwise. You say things and then you act hurt about something, and Marlo is just like, oh, I'm super hurt. And Kenya was like, Marlo, if I could just say what I'm trying to say without the rebuttals, without you interrupting me, without you saying something, just let me say it, okay? And Marlo is steadily interrupting her while she's even trying to say this, but then she's like, okay, go on. Okay, then Kenya starts up and she's like, wait a minute, one more thing. It's like, Marlo. Kenya tells her that she's insecure, that she is not really a true friend to somebody, okay, because she says things that hurts people. And the fact that you always telling people that you love them, Kenya says, I don't want that kind of love. You know why? Because that love is hurtful love. That love is toxic love. And I don't need that kind of love in my life. So basically, Kenya's like, I'm all out of chances when it comes to you, Marlo. I thought that we could work this out. It's clear that we cannot. So then Marlo was just like, you know what? I hate that you feel that way. Okay, but let Marlo let you know something. Who are you as a friend to tell me that I can't say something? I will never kiss your ass. And then Marlo starts to go on and on about how she feels. The whole thing is Marlo is just so flat out wrong. I've tried to figure out a way to think that why Marlo might think that she's right or why she sees things so definitely differently. But even with all this said, though, you guys, the fact that Kenya came just to make this announcement, really, Kenya could have just stayed home. I understand that she wanted to get that off of her chest, and maybe she even told the producers, like, look, if I come on this trip, I'm going to tell her how I feel. Okay, and they probably was like, well, come the fuck on then. Okay, but really and truly, Kenya could have stayed home because the group that we had, just like Candy and Drew and all of them were like, we were having a good time until you came with this. Like, maybe you shouldn't even, came. Drew was just like, yo, you know what, going back to your place and then we'll try again tomorrow. Okay, because here goes Kenya and Marlo fighting again. Everybody's tired of it. We thought that we got past it, that these two was going to finally get along, and that is not the case. Marlo ends it with, if we're not going to love each other, then we can at least respect each other. And Kenya was just like, well, I don't hate anybody. And I never said that I hated you. She just doesn't like the way that Marlo does things. But, it's put this whole awkward spin on what has been an otherwise nice day so far. And so everybody is just sort of like, this is, we don't feel like being on a trip where it's going to be like this. Well, anytime you got Marlo and Kenya in the mix, anything can happen. Anyway, you guys, that is it. What y'all thought about the episode, child? That Marlo boy. Like I said, that reunion is going to be interesting. Anyway, make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.